Much, Laska here. Look, I'd like to speak to Deputy Howland's further amendment, and I'd like to say that the publicans of Ireland, who are, after all, tax collectors, revenue collectors, collectors of excise for the state, and have collected serious amounts of money for governments, present, past and future governments, I presume, the ones of them that will be allowed to stay open, or that will be able to stay open after this further draconian legislation is passed. It is ironic and it is beyond belief that we are here today figuring out ways of penalising peoples whose doors are still locked because of rules and regulations that are still in place, while the rest of Europe, Northern Ireland, England, and all over Europe and other parts of the world, they see fit to allow their public houses to open their doors and sell alcohol in a responsible and in a safe way, and our government is insisting on still making them keep their doors closed. But just in case that the publicans feel that there is a movement within government that they will allow them over the coming weeks, maybe perhaps to open, they're here making the hammer to hit them with. And I take grave exception to what Deputy Bruton said earlier on, when he tried to mislead what I had said very clearly, where I was stating on the record of the House that I was supporting on Garda Síochána in the work that they're doing, because I really believe they have an awful lot to do as it is in keeping law and order in our state. And here the legislators that chose to vote for this legislation are putting a further burden on them. And what I clearly said was the government going to give additional resources to the Gardaí now, or what way were they hoping to assist the Gardaí in implementing the legislation that they are going to bring forward? And instead, what Deputy Bruton changed what I said and tried to give an impression that I was saying something against on the Garda Síochána. It was exactly the opposite. I'm supporting on Garda Síochána, and leading people in Garda Síochána have questioned what the government is doing. And they have questioned the fact that this legislation, and they had asked them to seriously consider it before it's enacted and before it's passed by this House. And even at this late stage, before any further votes take place, I would plead with people who are blindly supporting this, and many of whom actually haven't read or understand the enormity of what is actually going on here today, because it is ridiculous. If anybody came into this House and asked right now, this minute, what are deputies actually debating? What are they actually doing? What are they actually proposing to do to publicans and to other people? And they would find it ironic beyond belief that ministers in government see fit to be doing this at this time. It's absolutely crazy. It is beyond belief. And what I would say to the ministers, and what I would say to the TDs who are supporting it, I would ask you to look into your hearts and souls and think, where have you been having clinics over many years, and the people before you, where were they damn glad to go into and meet people, but inside in public houses? Publicans facilitated politicians back over the years by allowing them to go into a quiet corner, into a back room perhaps, to meet with people who had issues, and maybe it might have been different. It could have been local members of the IFA or the ICMSA, or it could have been the Country Women's Association that indeed had a matter that they wanted to raise with their local politician. And they met with them inside in a public house, or individuals who had problems or issues. And this is the gratitude and this is the thanks that we are giving those hardworking publicans and their families. We're turning around today and we're actually figuring out ways of hurting them. And I think that is so wrong. And that's why I'm glad to have another opportunity to have a cut off of this nonsense that's going on here today, Councillor. Thank you.